Woman put her hand to the mirror. A burst of electricity flashed. Arm actually sunk in as if into an unknown siege. David was also curious and tried to touch the floor on the other side. In order to completely unravel the mystery behind the mirror, Blake put his mobile phone steadily into the mirror and recorded a video. It turns out that the opposite side of the room is the exact same room. David couldn't help himself. He rushed towards the mirror. In a flash of lightning, he traveled across the room. Inside, the room was empty. He walked outside and suddenly heard a noise coming from the front yard. He peered cautiously but found an unbelievable sight. It was themselves. In the yard, the four of them were grilling meat and laughing. David took out his mobile phone and recorded the incredible scene and then fled back in a panic. They couldn't believe that they had just rented a house and this was the first thing that happened. Just now, they were having trouble with the software they were developing. David, in a fit of rage, threw out a screwdriver and smashed a hole in the wall. Anna looked in and realized that there was space behind the wall that hid a secret. The boys got interested. They didn't care that it was a rented house. They just broke it down violently. Finally, they found a staircase. They followed the stairs to the attic, but found nothing special, just old things. While exploring, Blake accidentally knocked over a wardrobe door and backed away, but was so shocked he couldn't move. It turned out that his hand had passed through the mirror next to it, as if it had passed through a layer of water. Blake carefully withdrew his hand only to feel a tingling sensation of electricity. Everyone wanted to know how magical this mirror was, which led to a series of explorations. But there was a new problem.
I watched this for like 15 minutes. I'm gone for like 5 seconds.
So the experiment began. David went through to the other side and returned after 30 minutes. But in the real world, only 10 seconds had passed. After calculating the difference in the flow of time between the two sides of the mirror was a staggering 180 times. Then David and Paul traveled back and forth but couldn't find each other. But when they crossed hand in hand, they arrived at the same time. This means that there are countless mirror worlds. Finally, they found a way to close the passage. By turning the mirror from a tilted position to an upright position, he could turn it back into a normal mirror. What's the best thing to do with this miracle weapon? The man rushed towards the mirror and in the next second he traveled behind it. In countless mirror worlds, they've made a fortune. As fans of Marlon Brando, David and Paul assumed the role of the Godfather. First, they slurred their lines. Then they pulled out a bomb, and they lit it the Godfather way. David went straight for it, happy as a 5 feet 9 inches kid. Burning dollars were falling like red butterflies. The two of them play a shooting game with great gusto. David tries to find a suitable specimen but accidentally discovers a film disc called Frankenstein. Strangely enough, it starred Marlon Brando. Paul was sure that Marlon Brando had never been in this film. In an instant, he realized what was going on. After investigating, they found out that it wasn't just a mirror world, but parallel worlds that were different from the main world. And the most valuable things in these parallel worlds were not luxury goods at all, but technological inventions, literature and works of art that were not found in the main world. As soon as he was ready, Paul got a lot of high-tech products not found in the main world. First he invented the foldable circuit board and then he introduced the ultra-portable e-reader. He quickly became a household name. Television stations interviewed him and called him the Edison of the new age. Anna had always dreamed of becoming a painter, so she visited artists in parallel worlds, got photos of their work and started copying them. Soon her paintings were so popular that a gallery wanted to hold an exhibition for her. Blake wasn't interested in any of that. He had one goal in mind, and that was to find his father. Turns out his father had died a long time ago due to embezzlement, so he traveled wildly to a parallel world and found that his father was not dead but had turned himself in. Blake came to the prison and finally saw his father, who he had missed for a long time, and instantly burst into tears. His father, on the other hand, gave him a lecture on how to take responsibility for one's own behavior. And David was busy with all sorts of things. David, on the other hand, was busy with all kinds of girls, but he didn't realize that his life was in danger. That day, David was playing a game with a girl upstairs. The girl's boyfriend came over and got drunk, but Blake was just listening to the music and didn't notice anyone coming in.